Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1 was a blast in my opinion, but I always felt like something was off. And after thinking about it for a while, I realized that most of my problems with this season start off with one scene. It was a scene that I initially thought was insanely cool, but now looking back on it, seriously messed up the plot. So buckle up, subscribe, and let's dive into it. The scene which I'm talking about is the confrontation between Thunderfang and the Forbidden Five at the end of episode 3. LEGO was even kind enough to post a clip of this on their YouTube channel, and I remember watching this clip before the season and just being so hyped for this season. But now, with the full context, this clip was just extremely damaging to the season in one major way. The main reason why I think we were all so hyped up because of this clip was because the Forbidden Five were just insanely powerful, allegedly, and seeing Thunderfang talk down to them just gave him so much aura. But, you see, there's the problem. There are two sides to that coin. To hype up Thunderfang as this awesome threat, they made the Forbidden Five look like a bunch of weaklings. I truly believe this is where the character assassination of the Forbidden Five begins. The reason the Forbidden Five were so scary was because they were powerful elemental masters who had nearly taken over a bunch of realms. But looking at this scene, I mean, we're talking about a completely different Forbidden Five. I know Thunderfang promised them power and all, but did the Forbidden Five even need that extra power? We saw Drix easily being able to mop the floor with the ninja, and so did Noct. This whole extra power plotline seems like it was only introduced because the writers needed some reason to have the Forbidden Five trust Thunderfang. Even then, I can't imagine how the Forbidden Five possibly thought Thunderfang was a trustworthy individual. I mean, he literally opens up his whole speech talking about how he used them to help him reach his plan of world domination. After they free Thunderfang at the end of episode 9, he calls them pathetic for trusting him, and I have to agree. Not only that, but Thunderfang talking down to the Forbidden Five changes their power dynamic and also changes how we, as the audience, see the Forbidden Five. Episode 1 did such a good job of hyping up the Five by showing them their awesome new powers, but after this scene, no matter how awesome they are, and they certainly are awesome in some scenes, we just think of them as basically henchmen. That's why I think the Forbidden Five are less awesome than we expected. It's not because they are less awesome, though some are. It's because we see them as second tier villains below Thunderfang. The whole season revolves around Thunderfang and his freedom, not the Forbidden Five. And that majorly takes away from the Forbidden Five's awesomeness. Now that I've kind of explained how this scene drags down the Forbidden Five, let's talk about how they could have fixed it. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Thunderfang could be an awesome villain, but the way they built him up so quickly just pulled down the Forbidden Five. Instead, when the Forbidden Five come to meet Thunderfang, in my opinion, they should have made it seem like they're at least on the same level as Thunderfang. Don't make Thunderfang this huge figure looming over the Five. Also, please don't make it so dang obvious that Thunderfang is gonna betray the Five. Make it seem like Thunderfang is like their little pet. Have him pretend to be loyal to the Five. For example, what if there was a giant power-sucking apparatus next to Thunderfang, slowly draining him, and the Forbidden Five destroyed that apparatus? Then, out of apparent gratitude, Thunderfang gave them some of his powers. This way, the Five think of Thunderfang as someone who is indebted to them, and Thunderfang acts like their little minion. But, of course, in reality, Thunderfang was actually playing the Five from the start. This way, you can have the Five be cool villains, and after that, maybe they get defeated by the ninja. Then they try to free Thunderfang because they actually want extra powers, and then he betrays them. That way, it's an actual plot twist, and the Forbidden Five aren't just dragged down as these newbies who get easily betrayed by someone who was so obviously going to betray them from the start. But, I don't know, man. In general, the concept of Thunderfang inherently just takes away from the Forbidden Five, and I think the best solution would be to just kind of remove him from the story entirely, at least for a little bit. But I plan to dive deeper into that in a future video, and let me know what you think of this scene down in the comments below and subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.